Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel for another video. Today we are going to be playing with the brand new kits. Three of them that came from Spellbinders for August 2023. We have the small die of the month, we also have the Glimmer plate of the month, and then we also have the embossing folder of the month. So I've gone ahead and die cut out all the pieces from our small die cut, which small. I find that kind of funny because there are so many dies in these small die sets. And so I'm going to go ahead and do some coloring. And I like to, this is probably one of my favorite ways to do it, is to die cut everything out of white, and then I can color everything, or I can ink blend everything, because that way I'm getting the exact color that I want. Sometimes, I mean, I love the look of die cutting your cardstock, your different colored cardstock, but sometimes that can be a little flat, and so oftentimes I find that I need to ink blend anyway on that, and so maybe this is a time saver, I'm not sure, maybe it's not, but I do like the look of just coloring what I'm going for. So I like that the dies are kind of set up to be like all the flesh tone would be on one die and so on and so forth. And I want to go ahead and apologize. I have gone and put together a lot of this without it being on camera. I forgot that I was zoomed in while I was coloring. And so sometimes while I'm creating, I'm not paying attention to where the camera is looking. I'm not paying attention to, if I'm zoomed in or not. I definitely need to do a better job of that. But I'm trying to share with you how to put this one together. It can be a little tricky, at least it was for me. But once you get the hang of it, it's not a big deal. So I do apologize that so much of this is not on camera. Yeah, but this is such a great die. And I did obviously die cut the dress out of some floral cardstock that I had. I just thought that looked like a fun idea. And we've got our swing piece here. We also have tiny pieces of almost like they're the string, or not string, I guess the rope from the swing as well. And I'm bringing in the embossing folder. I'm going to use that on a couple cards today, but I love these big embossing folders. And I went ahead and did that on some A2 card, which was 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I'm going to try and make this ombre to match the colors on that dress. So I started with some Viper ink, and I'm blending that very lightly, well, dark at the bottom and going up lighter to make it look a little ombre. And then I'm going to take some fake plant. These are both by Simon Hurley Create. I'm going to take some fake plant and rub that lightly over the raised edges. So that'll just add a little extra dimension to what we've already blended on there. And I kind of am trying to give the look of grass in the background. So I love how that looks. Now we're going to adhere the rope pieces. Another fun idea, instead of die cutting this out if you didn't want to, would be to actually use some string, or possibly even some jute or something like that. I think that would be kind of fun. But I'm just sticking that. I thought it should go behind her hand, but it needs to go in front of her hand. So doing it like that, and then we'll do the other pieces. I've already colored some of the flowers. We're going to use those later on as well when we're adhering all the pieces to this card. But this is just a fun die. I think it's really pretty. Makes me smile. And we're going to go ahead and just glue her down to the front. You could pop her up with some foam squares, but I decided, just for the ease, that we'll use some liquid glue. Put her down on there. And that Barely Art glue actually does a really good job, even with an embossing folder embossed background. We're going to have a little bit of those strings hanging off the edge, so we'll trim those off later. And I went ahead and already stamped and die cut out the word hello from a previously released stamp set. And we're just going to put those flowers down like they're around the word hello. And then we'll add their centers and some leaves. But I feel like this was actually a lot of fun to do. Considering how many pieces there are, sometimes that can be a little tedious for some, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoy the process of just kind of die cutting, coloring, zoning out, listening to a book, listening to some music, and putting cards together. So here we're going to get our little centers. So I'll pop a little bit of glue on each of those centers, and then we'll use my pickup stick to put those centers on there. Our card base is going to measure 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, scored at 4 1/4. So then we can go ahead and adhere this down to the front of that using some more of that liquid glue. And it goes right to the edges. It'll fill up the full front of that A2 size card. And that'll be our first card. Now we're going to move on to using the Glimmer Hot Foil Plate of the month. That's what it looks like. It's big. So I'm going to make some 5x7 cards. And you do get some, I think everybody's is a little bit different, but I believe mine was rose gold. Everybody's might not be different, but that's what I got this month, was some rose gold. And so I'm going to bring out my quick cutter. My Glimmer Hot Foil system is heating up, and we're going to trim down what we need from this. And I want this to just be kind of flat right on there, which is kind of nice about this particular Glimmer Hot Foil plate because it is so big. You don't have to foil twice. So I'm going to put this right on top of my 5x7 card base, and we'll line everything up where I want it. I've put my foil down with the pretty side up, and then I'll put my plate down face down, and I'm using a little bit of mint tape to hold everything in place. And then while my Glimmer Hot Foil system is heating up, I'm just going to set that right on there. Wait for that green light to go green to let me know that it's ready. And then I'll press the timer button, and then that's going to beep for a little bit, or at least blink. And then once it's done blinking, you can run this through your Platinum 6 die cutting machine. Follow the instructions and you should be good to go. So I peeled all that away, and it was a perfect foiling. I was so happy with that. It just makes my heart so happy. And what I love about this particular plate is that the add-on this month is a matching stencil. How cool is that? So that makes coloring this up a breeze. So I brought out my tonic platform, and we're going to do up some leaves. I think there's 2 stencils, might be more. I guess we'll figure it out. I am going to use some mint tape here and there just to kind of cover up some of those areas because I don't want all that to be green. I want some of those to be flowers. So I'll bring in another color. That first color I used was the Viper because I'm trying to go with mostly the same color palette for all the cards that I'm making today. I will spruce it up because I am going to use this plate a couple more times, but now we're bringing in some Guppy. And these are all by Simon Hurley Create. I'm just blending those on there with a blending buddy. And then we'll bring in the next stencil. Yeah, I guess there's 3. I think there's 3 total. And then once again, tack everything down. We're going to move on to some fake plant, which is another green. Well, I guess we'll do our orange first, which is Roar. That's a deeper orange. So it's going to make those petals look really cool. I actually really like that they did the petals on separate ones, so that way if you wanted to do various colors, you absolutely could. And then here's where we'll bring in that fake plant for the rest of those leaves. And then our other stencil, I guess there's a total of 4 stencils. This next one is some more stems, so we're going to do that fake plant again. You could probably even bring in another green if you wanted to, have 3 different greens, but I decided to stick with the fake plant. So this is a total of 4 stencils. My bad for not knowing that right out of the gate. It's been a minute from production to voiceover, so forgive me. All right, so there we go. And then we'll bring in that last stencil, and I'm just going to use some light brown on that one. But I do love how quickly this comes together, and you get that beautiful blending going on. This one's called Cookie Dough, so it's just a light brown. I thought that would match really well with the other browns that I've been using on that other card. All right, so I'll pull that away and you'll see how cool it is. And I'll clean off my stencils. But check it out. And that glimmer on there makes me so happy. Love it. All right, so I went ahead and did another panel. This time I used some blues, and I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine for our embossing folder of the month. And check that out. That's just another way to use that embossing folder. And I love the shine from the Glimmer plate. And so we'll make that into a card. And then our final one, you guessed it, we're going to bring in the Better Press. Yes, I know I have this Better Press. I had the idea that I would do a whole video on using it for the first time, and I haven't gotten to it. But what I love about the Better Press is that you can use your foiling plates with it. So if you love foiling, I feel like you have to get the Better Press. I'm going to show you how you can do that. Use your Better Press with your foiling plates. It's fabulous. It is fabulous. It just makes me happy. So I use the tape that goes along with this, and I'm lining it up on that Better Press plate. This is going to be an A2. You can do 5x7s as well, A7s. But the magnetic plate, the gray piece, that magnetic plate, you just put your foiling plate down on top of that, and it should stay in place. And then you're going to want to pounce your archival ink that comes in the kit. You pounce and kind of do a little twist to make sure that you're getting that ink on there. You can move some of those sometimes because that magnet isn't like crazy strong. And then you just set that down and run that through your Platinum 6 die cutting machine. And it is going to leave this amazing impression on there. It really does make me so, so happy that now my Glimmer hot foil plates have a whole nother use. And so you'll get that impression from the plate. I love it so much. I can't get over how much I love it. The only thing I don't love about this Better Press is the tape that comes with it because it tears up your paper. And yes, I am using some Better Press paper that comes with it. I've tried some of the others. This is just a little thicker and it works really, really well. So I would suggest maybe next time I will use my mint tape instead of that whatever kind of tape that comes with it. And I'm cleaning off my plate with just some isopropyl alcohol. So you can clean off if you get any excess ink anywhere, and I'm cleaning off my plate as well with it, just a little drop. I didn't use a ton of isopropyl alcohol, and everything cleans off very nicely and easily. And then we'll, use our stencil again, and then we'll attach this right down to the front of an A2 size card base. Miles is going to come in, quality control, make sure that I am doing everything appropriately. If you have been watching me at all lately, he has showed up in every video. All right, so here is our first card using that die of the month and the embossing folder. Here is our second card using the embossing folder and the Glimmer plate. And then here is the Glimmer plate using the foil. Oh, love it. And here's one using the Better Press. And maybe you can't tell a whole lot on screen, but it's an impression, and it's so, so cool. All right, so I'm going to have everything linked down below. I'll also have a link to my blog if you'd like to take a better look at these pictures. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you like this video, like it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.